that.
Oh, you mean that massive spell reflect damage? Nah, I think I'll stand in it, thank you very much.
What if you don't have spell reflect?
Then I'll get up. Hey there everybody, Mazarok here, and today I want to talk about Spell Reflect. We're going to be concentrating this video more on Protection Warriors, but a lot of the things to Spell Reflect here is applicable as well to DPS Warriors. So very good stuff here. Spell Reflect is so incredibly powerful in Season 4 of Shadowlands and is a ton of fun to press, and especially because the amount of things that are spell reflectable in old dungeons. So please like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. I'm flabbergasted by all of the support and all the wonderful people in my Discord community, in my Twitch, and everything else. Thank you so much. There's a Patreon link down below, there's a Discord link down below, and a Twitch link down below if you just wish to be part of the conversation, hang out, whatever have you not. But let's get into the video. So, Spell Reflect in Season 4. Right off the bat, we have to talk about the seasonal affix, Shrouded. With the Shrouded affix, you can actually spell reflect almost every vampiric clause that can go out with proper timing, or the ones that matter. If they cast it within the first 10% of their damage, like if they're still above 90% health, you don't necessarily need to hit spell reflect unless you know he's going to drop before the next cast, but especially once you get to higher keys, their health gets higher. So what I personally do for the vampiric clause is I'll let the first one go off, like I said, as long as he's above 90% health, because he's only going to heal up about that 7 to 9% anyway, right? So he's not going to get that full, 15 to 20% that I've seen him get at times, and then wait for the second cast and then spell reflect. This will often happen when he's around 20% health, 10% health. He's about to die, and you can quite literally shorten the pull length by just hitting spell reflect on that vampiric clause. It doesn't do any damage back to him, but it fully deflects the blow, and he gets no healing from it at all. So, Prot Warriors with the Shrouded affix, just the regular Nathrazims, insanely strong. Zolgamux. With Zolgamux, he does the Blood Siphon cast. You can actually deflect one tick, and in higher keys, that tick can matter because it is a lot of outgoing damage to your entire party. So just the fact that your healer doesn't have to heal you at all during one of those ticks, because again, this actually does reflect and deal damage back to Zolgamux. Very strong. You're going to shorten the length of that shield and just have a generally easier time surviving. Do note as well, you will have Spell Reflect up for every single Blood Siphon cast, which is very strong in itself. It's just a question of when you want to use it. But Spell Reflect, Shrouded, match made in heaven. There's a couple of dungeons as well that I want to highlight how good Spell Reflect can be. Before we get into those specific dungeons, I am going to be listing a link down below, which is by Sense, who updates all of what is spell reflectable and shield blockable in a Google Sheets. This is an absolute must-have in your bookmarks for anybody wanting to play Prot Warrior in any kind of serious keys or anything at all, or if you're just looking to improve with by your play with Spell Reflect and Shield Block and knowing what can and cannot be done. He updates the raids, the dungeons, and everything, and lists exactly if it's deflect, reflect, or like deflectable, reflectable, whatever have you not, in a fantastic way that's easy to read. And there's a lot of people putting testing on this, so do check that out, bookmark it. This has been an absolute major source of amazing information for me in all of Shadowlands, and he does have a link as well in the intro page to give his Twitch and YouTube some support. He's running some very high keys on Prot Warrior right now, which is very nice to see. Alright, let's get into the dungeons. One of the ones that I've been having the most amount of fun with Spell Reflect is actually Junkyard. Like, I feel bad taking my blood decay into Junkyard just because I know I'm missing out on like a buttload of spell reflect damage, because there's a couple of things in here that are absolutely huge to spell reflect, right? Number one is the Toxic Monstrosity. The Consume cast, the one that brings everybody in and everybody runs out of. As long as you hit spell reflect before the first bar of that cast goes off, because he has the cast bar and then he has the channel bar, hit it before the cast bar goes off, and you are going to spell reflect all that damage right back to them. You're going to take like no damage at all, and you get to stay in there and keep doing damage. You literally don't need to stop. You can still be hitting globals because spell reflect isn't on the global, and you can do this for every consume, and it is big damage, right? And this is one of the things that Arms and Fury Warriors can do as well. It's really, really good. And the other thing that's really, really fun to spell reflect, but does require a little bit of timing, is the Trixie and Nano boss, the little gnome bosses or whatever have you not. Megatase and Tase can be used to spell reflect damage back to the boss, mostly with Tase. I think Megatase is a deflect, but I don't have a confirmation on that. But the Tase is put on a random person, so this is one that you want to be in comms with if you can, and kind of work things out, because if the Tase is on you, hit spell reflect, boom, awesome stuff. As well as Fulminating Zap off the last boss in in Junkyard. Yeah, it does big damage back to boss. Really, really good, solid, just solid ability. That's where you should use it. Another one that I've been having a lot of fun with whenever I do get in is Upper, right? Power Discharge reflects, deflects. We're pretty sure it says reflect here, but it doesn't seem to do damage. I always thought it was a deflect, but it's kind of one of those things you want to time right just to save yourself some damage. Shade of Medivh, Arcane Bolt is reflectable from the little birds at that phase, as well as Piercing Missiles. Now, this will only deflect one tick, right? And if we go back to the shield block thing, is you want to deflect the very last tick, it prevents the arcane debuff from being applied to you. So this is one thing that's going to take some practice, because you're going to want to deflect the last tick, and it's going to take a little bit of work to try and get that right, but this is very, very good. And as well, the most fun one that I have here is Burning Blast. Yeah, off the last boss, Vizidum the Watcher. This is one where you want to coordinate kicks with your group. Have people even track your spell reflect or whatever have you not. Whenever it's up, you're going to want to use Burning Blast because it does do big damage back onto the boss. Is so good. It feels so good. It's a lot of fun. King Mechagon in Workshop, Pulse Blast. It just will deal a majority of your damage. I'm not a big fan, unless it's a high tyrannical key, like we're talking 20 pluses, of burning my banner on cooldown on King Mechagon, because the amount of damage is not tremendous on that first phase, and I'd much rather have it for the last phase, where you need to be a lot more defensive. You need to have that extra healing from Indom and everything going with banner. Pulse Blast can actually make up your damage loss from not popping banner in like a 15 or 16, because it's just not going to last long enough. You know what I mean? Like you're going to lose your banner in that intermission, and you really want it for that P2 portion, right? Another one is I kind of skipped because I really like the Pulse Blast, but in Machinist Garden, what you can do, and this is something that I do a lot, I'm trying to find footage on this as well, but we'll see what happens, is the Blossom Blast from the plant activation turret or whatever. Taunt it, charge it, and spell reflect it. It can stun the flower, but it does do damage back. It's really, really good, and I've noticed that whenever I'm playing my Prot Warrior is actually fairly strong and really, really good. And as well, Grimrail Depot has a lot of fun stuff that you can spell reflect back to the boss. You can spell reflect Shrapnel Blast. You can spell reflect Ignite, Thunder Zone, Storm Shield, Flame Tongue, 50,000 volts. Although 50,000 volts, it does say here that it is a deflect, but I had noticed that I wasn't taking any damage from it. One of those little things, but very, very nice to see. Iron Docs has a couple of things as well. The big notable one is you can, two notable ones actually, is the Lava Barrage and the Lava Blast from the Iron Wing Flame Spitter. Those guys can actually truck a lot of tanks, and you can just reflect this damage back to them for really, really big damage. And as well as this is going to require some timing, but if you do, you can get it right. It works really, really well, is the Reckless Provocation off the first boss in Iron Docks. So when he puts up that shield and you hit him and you get feared, you can Berserker Rage it, but you can also Spell Reflect it. So right when that shield goes on, hit Spell Reflect, and if he tries to hit it, it just literally immunes the fear. I've done this a couple of times. I just haven't been in Iron Docks many times since learning this information. But since I have, it's been really, really good. I think I've done it like 70% of the time, somewhere around there where it's worked. But having Berserker Rage as a backup, very, very strong, super awesome to work with and have a lot of fun with. But those are just some of the things that I want to highlight for Spell Reflect, because Spell Reflect in our Season 4 is super strong and a lot of fun to press, and is one of the main reasons why I feel bad playing anything but Prot Warrior right now, because I have so much fun spell reflecting so much stuff back to the bosses, seeing my damage go up and just escalating. Like, my damage is escalating with the key levels, obviously, because things like Consumes and Junkyards, Burning Blast from Vizidum, all of that damage gets reflected back and is escalated by key level, or, you know, I'm using the wrong word, but whatever. You get the point, and it's so much fun. But knowing when to spell reflect is so important for a Prot Warrior. It's the same as, you know, knowing when to, when you absolutely need shield block up. I'll use an example from last season, but Necrotic Wake. A lot of people in Necrotic Wake on the last boss thought that the Icy Blast, or whatever have you not, Icy Shard. Yeah, Icy Shard was magic damage. It wasn't. It was physical, and it was fully shield blockable. So as long as you had shield block up, you took literally 0 damage. But this is something that you need to know, right? Because you're obviously aiming for 100% effective uptime on shield block. That's not always possible. Like, you know, sometimes it'll be 90%. It'll happen. It'll drop sometimes. But knowing that you absolutely need it for this ability is just huge. And that applies tenfold to Spell Reflect. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys learned something. Is there something as well that you love spell reflecting that I didn't talk about? There's a couple of lower Karazhans as well. Soup Spray off the Opera Hall, Beautiful Beast, the Wicket one as well. There's the throw stuff. You know, there's a lot of decent ones as well. But I wanted to highlight some of the really, really big ones. So thank you very much, guys. Have yourselves a good one. And are you enjoying Prot Warrior as much as I am? Because I am just having a blast with it.